I'd like to call this meeting to order at 10:03 a.m. and welcome everyone. I will read the land acknowledgement statement first. The city of Thorold is situated on treaty land. This land is steeped in the rich history of the First Nations, such as the Hadawandak, Haudenosaunee, and Anishinaabe, including the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. There are many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people from across Turtle Island that live and work in Niagara today. The City of Thorold stands with all Indigenous people, past and present, in promoting the wise stewardship of the lands on which we live. Are there any declarations of interest? Seeing none, can I get a mover and a seconder to adopt the agenda? I got Mark's the mover. Can I get a seconder, please? Gary is a seconder. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Adoption of the minutes. Can I get a mover and a seconder to adopt the minutes? TAG 1 2023. I got Councillor Sentence and Gary. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. There are no items of correspondence. Committee business. Fall semester preparation. And we'll start off first with Megan McRae and Jason Simpson to present the drafted landing page for new student resources section on the City of Thorold website. I'll now ask Megan and Jason to present. Are you going to present from up there? Or from here? Okay, go ahead, Megan.
Sure, I'd be happy to do that. Thank you. So as we discussed at the last Town and Gown meeting, seems like ages ago now since we met, one of the initiatives that we talked about doing was having a dedicated student landing page on the City of Thorold website, where students could go to one location and access information pertaining to the city, a lot of bylaw enforcement information, but also a lot of other more light information that students may be interested in, such as events that are occurring within the city. Megan will show us the draft of the webpage that has been worked on thus far. In addition, I might be getting ahead of myself, but we have been meeting with various stakeholders as well in preparation for Welcome Week and Homecoming as well. But I can speak about that in more depth later.
Okay. Okay, Megan's going to share the screen here.
All right, so if everybody can see this okay on the virtual side of things. So Jason and I have spent some time over the last few weeks, again, in response to the discussions that were taking place a few months back at the initial meeting. So this is kind of a new section that we've built out. It's not quite live yet on the City of Thorold website, but as Jason said, it's intended to provide kind of an all-in-one encompassing resource section for students who are new to the City of Thorold, new or returning students, targeting obviously Brock University students as well as Niagara College students. So this section of the website will be available at www.thorold.ca/students when it becomes live. Again, right now it's only in draft mode. So if students type that URL into their website, this is what they will see. So we kind of have a little bit of a welcome blurb, just welcoming students to the city, a little bit of the information about the City of Thorold. I've provided here some direct links to connecting with us on social media and encouraging them to subscribe to our monthly e-newsletter that goes out to external stakeholders as well. This midsection here, we've kind of, through some conversations, we identified what kind of the key areas were that we thought students would be looking for more information on. So just alphabetically, we have a few call-out boxes here. So connect with us. This directs the student to a section on our website that has more information about where we can be found online, how students can connect with the city, all of our social media information, our newsletter information, and who to connect with for more information. The community events call-out box directs the student user directly to the community events calendar on our website. For those who might not be aware of what that calendar is, it's a resource for both city staff as well as members of the community to input any type of community event that's taking place. It does not have to be affiliated with the city. And on a weekly basis, through our subscription tool on the website, we send out kind of a push email, a push notification that goes out to all who are subscribed, and people will receive a automatic email to their emails that kind of say, here are the upcoming events in the city of Thorold. So it's a great resource as a whole for all of our external stakeholders, but especially for students to be aware of. The fire safety call-out box, I think you said, Nicholas, Mike is on the call. So Mike and or Terry, you might be happy to see this here. So the fire safety just directs to the student fire safety section in our fire and emergency services section. So that has information specific to students on just how to remain fire safe in your rental properties. The parking section, this directs over directly to our parking section, which has a ton of valuable information for students, information about all of our downtown parking availability, when you can park on the side of the street, how to obtain a parking permit, and that kind of information. We've also just implemented a new parking map tool into this section of the website as well. So a lot of great information that is definitely relevant for students there. Recreation, this just directs the student to our rec section of our website, so more information about sports fields, parks, trails, that kind of stuff. Our residential rental licensing, so many of you here in the meeting are likely aware of our residential rental licensing program. We have a whole section dedicated to it on our website, and this just directs directly to that section. Transit, this will obviously go to the new NRT transit section on the Niagara Region webpage. And then also lastly, the waste and recycling. This goes to the waste and recycling section of the Niagara Region website as well. And then just kind of the third section of the landing page, we've done some tips and tricks on how to be a good neighbor. And I won't go through everything here. The formatting looks a little bit wonky as it's in draft mode, but this section here will kind of be formatted in drop downs, so people can kind of click the title that is appealing to them and they can learn more about that information. So just some information on responsible property maintenance. Again, more information on waste and recycling and how that works in the region, directing the student user directly to downloading the waste app from Google Play or the App Store. Information on noise and gatherings, just some tips on, again, how to be a respectful neighbor in the city of Thorold. Moving in or out, here are some tips on, things that you should be mindful of while you're doing that, not to disturb your neighbors. And then working closely with our supervisor of bylaw services, Danny, we also attempted to put in some popular FAQs here based on some of the most common questions that our bylaw team gets on a daily basis from students and or from their parents. So just some basic questions. What happens if we have more than the allotted amount of garbage? Am I actually responsible for maintaining my property, or is my landlord? And then some additional questions targeted towards parking as well. So I won't spend too much more time. That's kind of the gist of the draft landing page as a whole. I'd welcome any feedback before we move on. If anybody had, or Jason, if you'd like to add anything onto that.
Thanks, Megan. I don't think I have much to add on, but we wanted to make sure we brought this to the committee. One, because we mentioned it as an initiative at our last meeting, but also we value the feedback of the group. Both, especially I would say members at large and BUSU and representatives at Brock. We definitely value input from those members because I think your input could definitely make this webpage that much better for the students.
Before I open it to the floor, our goal is to have this up and running for this fall semester, is that?
Yeah, the webpage is ready to go live from Jason and I's perspective. So we were looking forward to any feedback from this committee, and we can get it live this week.
And if we can get, because we want to get that out during the welcome wagon time and that.
Yeah.
The only thing, before I open the floor, that if we could add, it would be something like volunteer opportunities, so
Yeah.
that we can get our community partners, maybe that they can start listing stuff and student population can see where they can engage in the community. That would be something that I would like to see personally, but I'll open the floor up. I seen Mark had his hand up. Mark, go ahead. You're muted, Mark.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No? Good.
Just wrong click. Couple questions is there, or would you be open to a consideration where you actually link the bylaw? You've got a garbage section and you refer to noise and garbage and things like that. I just think it'd be helpful for information for people just to link the bylaw, the applicable bylaws into there. And the second thing is, you have Brock and Niagara, and that's the vast majority of the students that live here, but we also have other colleges like Trillium and those kind of things. So maybe we just say, welcome Brock, Niagara, and all other colleges. We have some university connections too, because people come into Brock from another university and they do placements and things like that.
Good. Thanks, Mark. That's been duly noted. Kaylee, go ahead.
Hi, this looks great. I'm wondering if I would be able to, sorry, it's froze for a second. Wondering, would I be able to get a link to that page? I think it'd be really helpful to get some feedback from some of those student leaders that are in our office now. I think they would also probably have some good feedback on the FAQ section with some questions that they may hear from students that they connect with.
Absolutely, Kaylee. So we can, if Megan can work with your group, just give her the contact, and then we can definitely incorporate that. That's good feedback, because there may be things we're missing, and there may be opportunities that they're looking for that we can incorporate into that. So Megan, can you connect with Kaylee, and then Kaylee we can do that through you, Kaylee?
Yeah, that's great. And I promise we'll do a quick turnaround because I know you want to launch this soon.
Thank you. Kristen?
Yeah, just to echo the comments of Kaylee, thank you so much, Jason and Megan, for your work on the website. I had a chance to look at it last week when we met, and happy to provide feedback as well. So if that can be shared, I can share that with some student staff that we have in the office as well as professional staff. So just to echo Kaylee's comments, but a thanks. I think it's a great message to send to students about being welcome to Thorold, to see the presence on the website. So thank you.
Okay, so we'll incorporate that as well. Is there any other questions? Seeing none, I'll go ahead, Jason.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, I just see there's something on the chat.
Okay. Nick, is there?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, it's just the email from Ms. Rosetto,
Okay.
which I can forward.
Okay, thank you. So, thank you so much, Jason and Megan, for the work, and this is a great initiative, and I think that with the feedback we get, and we can incorporate that, and I think it's something that hopefully will be widely used this year. Okay. community updates, community partners, and I'm going to start first with Virginia from the Niagara Regional Police Services, if she can give us some feedback. Virginia?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good morning, everybody. Just a little bit from NRP. We're working closely with Brock University to welcome the students back again this year. So looking forward to that relationship and getting out and meeting this year's new students. Thank you.
Thank you, Virginia. From Brock University, Daryl or Kristen, or both of you, who wants to speak? The floor is open.
I'm happy to start. A couple of initiatives, as Virginia mentioned, we do have an ask out to the NRP to support our neighborhood patrols for students starting September 1st and throughout the month, kind of highlighting some of those dates, including the homecoming weekend, which is planned for Friday, September 22nd and Saturday, September the 23rd. We're also, the Welcome Wagon campaign is starting again. So this is a door knocking campaign that we run both in Thorold and in St. Catharines. And invitations have been sent out for folks to attend that on September the 9th from 1 until 3:30. We have a kickoff lunch at 12 o'clock where people are also extended if you'd like to come a bit early and mingle with some students before they head out for volunteer projects. So this is hosted as part of our larger Brock Cares Day of Service. And we have members of fire, NRP, members of council are invited to attend as well, and I'm happy to extend the invitation to members of this working committee as well if they'd like to join us in the neighborhoods on Saturday, September the 9th. That is taking place. And as I mentioned, Brock Cares is a volunteer initiative, so I do see it later in the agenda around community bonds, but I did want to let folks know that that is happening also on September the 9th. And we have 3 projects taking place in Thorold. So we're working with Small Scale Farms, March of Dimes, and the Knights of Columbus. So there is some community outreach happening in the Thorold community as part of the Brock Cares Day of Service.
Thank you, Kristen. Daryl, did you want to add anything?
Just a quick note that our off-campus patrols will continue this year. Of course, their jurisdiction is limited to is confined to our campus, but they do offer great support to our colleagues in NRPS and others, just being a presence in the community during often difficult times. Otherwise, Kristen covered it well. Thank you.
Thank you. Kaylee, did you want to add anything from the BUSU standpoint?
Just quickly, our team is really busy getting ready for Badger Fest, which is kind of the select events that we put on through Welcome Week. It kicks off with hundreds of students that are volunteering to move in new Brock students to campus on a Saturday and Sunday. And then throughout the week during the day and both that night, we're running events, and that wraps up for us on Friday night. But yeah, it's a really exciting and stressful time in our office, but I know everyone's really looking forward to this weekend.
It's stressful in my office as well, Kaylee. I'm going to ask Mike, did you have anything to add from Thorold Fire and Emergency Services?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor, and thanks for everyone for coming today. On behalf of Chief Dixon, we're working with the NRP as well to kind of prepare for the next few weeks, and we'll be out in full force for a bunch of life safety initiatives that we have set up for our fire prevention side of things for the students as well. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Mike. Jason, did you want to add from bylaw, please?
Certainly, thank you. We are working on, well, we do have bylaw enforcement coverage into the evenings for homecoming. We will be and have been in discussions with Niagara Regional Police Service and partnering with Brock Security as well to try and address any issues that raised, but we're very hopeful that we'll have a fall similar to last year's.
Thank you. I'll wait for Catherine. You got your own special headline, so I'll wait till we get to waste management. Is there? I can just add from the Welcome Wagon Day, which is the 9th. Am I correct? That's the 9th. I know that I am meeting at Canada Games Park there for the kickoff. And I know Mayor Cisco and myself will be bringing greetings on behalf of both cities. And what I'm doing, I'm extending out to this committee, anybody that wants to be part of the campaign between 1 and 3:30 to go door to door. Please reach out to, you can do that through Tessa, you know, the email that gets sent out for the meetings. And she can arrange it with the group and where they're going to meet. Traditionally, in Thorold, they go to a few different areas, one of them being the Winterberry, Juneberry area. It's a very, it's an important campaign, and I think it shows a presence in the community, and it shows that everybody's working together, and hopefully, like Jason said, we'll be as successful as we were last year. Go ahead, Jason, you wanted to add something?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I forgot to mention, we will have bylaw enforcement representation at the welcome wagon as well.
Okay, and I know that, Marcia, is there anything to add? Is there going to be an event downtown?
Not that I'm aware of. No, they decided not to do it this year.
Okay, but I know that Brock is involved in some initiatives like the three that you mentioned, Kristen, one of them being the Harvest Fest. I know they're going to be set up there. Okay. Okay, I'm going to move on to waste management, and then everybody will get a chance to speak when we go to round table if you have any issues or something you want to raise. But we're going to go next to waste management, and we have the Director of Waste Management Services from the Niagara region, Catherine. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here again. So our staff will once again be participating alongside with Brock and Niagara College at their orientation week. We've already lined that up. I don't believe we received an invite for the welcome wagon. Maybe it went to someone else, but we would definitely want to be involved with that once again. So if I could...
make sure that gets sent out. Kristen, can you look after that? Okay, thank you.
And perhaps it has gone to someone. I just connected with our outreach person. She hasn't seen it. So we definitely will have staff available for that. And once again, we'll have our bylaw staff in the student areas, the Winterberry, Juneberry, et cetera. We tend to go in those areas the day after collection, and then we leave non-compliance notifications at any household where there is garbage remaining at the curb that wasn't collected, or empty bins that sit at the curb. So we'll once again be doing that. We have started tracking our efforts in those areas, so once I have a report, I can present that at the next meeting. If there's any issues with waste, you can always call our waste info line, and we'll definitely dispatch staff out into that area. So we have a heavy presence in the student areas, in Thorold as well as St. Catharines.
Yeah, I think one of the big things is educating on what the rules are, and I think that, so you'll be handing out literature at all these events, is that correct?
That's correct, and I also should mention that every year, twice a year actually, we send out letters to the landlords of the homes that we know are occupied by off-campus students, as well as we send flyers to those houses as well for educating the students that are there.
Thank you. Okay, is there any questions for Catherine regarding waste management? Okay, up next is community bonds. This item was discussed at the last meeting about ways to create bonds with students in the community. And I think that, Kristen, you discussed Brock Cares, a volunteer day on September 9th. Is there anything else that we want to add here? Kaylee, did you want to add anything regarding community bond? I know I had a good meeting with Busu, and we talked about community engagement, and that's why I added the point about volunteering, because on ways we can work together, and so if you might want to add something.
I don't think I have anything to add. Kind of a general reminder, I guess, for the committee is that we we work pretty closely with a lot of students, and the students that typically get engaged with BUSU and the ones that also engage with Kristen as well, they're students who want to volunteer, they want to do those extracurriculars. So if there are events in the community where you may want some extra volunteers, you may want a student presence, please reach out to us. So we would be happy to, engage with those students, set up a table, and try to get more of their presence there. Kristen probably can elaborate on it, but
Okay,
yeah.
Go ahead, Kristen.
Yes, I did want to share that beyond September 9th, which is our kickoff for Brock Cares, that we do host a monthly Brock Cares session for students. So it is ongoing. So if you do have organizations that are looking to connect with us to have a group of organized students, we do facilitate on a monthly basis, as well as providing opportunities to post on our volunteer job board, as well as on Experience BU, which is our online portal for students. So a number of ways. We have a Community Connections newsletter that goes out bi-weekly to students as well, letting them know about opportunities. So it isn't just limited to September. It does, we engage with the community throughout the year, and we invite people from Thorold, organizations from Thorold to put forward projects for students to work on.
Thank you. Go ahead, Jason.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This topic is important to me, and so I'll probably reach out to BUSU and Brock in the future as well. But just to share with this group, the City of Thorold recently engaged with the Goodman School of Business at Brock, and through their experimental learning, we had Brock students working on projects, a specific project for the City of Thorold, to help engage them in the community and with the organization of the City of Thorold as well. So that was a pretty good opportunity. I think this is the first time we've ever done it, and looking forward to more opportunities like that as well.
Thank you so much. Okay, so I'll open the, does anyone have anything they want to add or discuss in this particular topic? Okay. So now we're going to move on to roundtable. And if you have anything you want to raise or discuss, this is the time to do it. So I'll start with Marcia. Marcia, go ahead.
Thank you, everybody. So first, I just want to say I am definitely pro-student. I employ students in both our businesses, but I'm going to be wearing my residence hat right now, as I'm not sure if it was made aware, we had another huge street party this weekend. We had 8 police cars. We had 3 streets shut down. I definitely think our committee has some repairs and bonds to do with the residents again. I got many pictures sent to me, even though I am literally 3 houses away from the parties. So I'm fully aware of what was going on. We had streets blocked, but we definitely we were doing very well, I think, as a neighborhood with the students for the last 4 years. And this party on the weekend gave everybody kind of PSD on what we remember of the previous years. And I think we have to look at maybe these people are very smart. They know there's no fines if it's a street party or if it's a garage party, because you can't put a pin on it. I don't know. I definitely think we have some mending to do after this weekend, because it really brought us all back to the days of the fun times down Winterberry.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to get, Virginia's got her hand up, so I'm sure she wants to comment on this. Go ahead, Virginia.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm aware of the incident that occurred over this weekend, obviously. There were several police cars there, approximately 200 to 250 kids, so I can confirm that. Just in light of that, I'd like to share that I am working closely with the Thorold bylaw now. So we do have a new tool that we can use. We no longer have to identify who's throwing the party, hosting the party, present at the party. We can go issue something under the administrative penalty notice, and that can be issued by Thorold bylaw with information from the Niagara Regional Police. So the power that gives us now is we just share the incident number with bylaw, and they will go and issue those administrative penalties to the owner of the residence. So that takes away the issue where we can no longer identify because they weren't identifying to us. So we're hoping once word gets out of that, that'll curb some of these, because I mean, the kids are going to lose their, their deposits, and they can be evicted from their residence as well. So I just wanted to share that with the group.
Thank you. Daryl or Kristen, did you want to comment on that? I'm sure you've received feedback regarding this.
Sure, Terry. This is Daryl Veld speaking, Associate Director of Student Affairs. We did receive that report last night. Our campus security provided us with some information that leads us to think that it might have been high school students renting an Airbnb in the area. It's a little preliminary to have any confirmation on anything like that yet, but most of our students haven't returned yet. Their big move-in date is next weekend.
We're here actually now.
Some of them, sure. But,
yeah, lots of them are here. I live here. There's lots of them moving in already because they pay 12 months a year.
Yeah, of course. But many of them, as I mentioned, stay through their employment through the end of August. And I think next weekend is when you're going to see a lot of pickup trucks in the area, moving many in. Other than that, we recognize that the residents are an important, part of our relationship with the community. And we're always looking forward to feedback and doing what we can to help support them.
Thank you. Go ahead, Gary. Go ahead, Gary. Is this on this issue, though?
Yes, it is. Actually, that's the only reason I'm here today, because I got another engagement I'm already late for. This mass of people wound up in front of my house. And I went outside, and my neighbor across the street, she's bleeding from the face. She was attacked. Her daughter was attacked. Her boyfriend was attacked. You know what? I know this committee we've done a lot of good things. And I know, and nobody had a sign on that said they were from Brock or Niagara or high school, so it's hard to tell. And when you're my age, they all look the same age anyways, but it was disturbing. And as far as the police go, they were there. And I know their hands are tied, but basically they were spectators. And these kids aren't afraid of the police. They just laugh at them. And the police can't do anything because you can't beat them up. You can't. I suggested they hire a bunch of police dogs, but these kids aren't scared of the police. And virtually they're just standing there. They also had to restrain the husband because when he found his wife laying on the driveway bleeding, he lost it. But this kind of stuff, and I know it's not the majority of students. The majority of students are hardworking and they're doing what they got to do to get through school. But I'll tell you, it's pretty disturbing when you see a woman laying on a driveway with her face all blood, and you can't identify the kid or the kids that beat them up. And that's all she asked them to do, and this is at 12 o'clock at night in the rain, just to move off her driveway. And they attacked her, a swarm of them. It's frustrating because I know the effort that we went to start this committee and do all the good things that this committee has done. But if we can't have any kind of consequences to this kind of action, I don't know. Are we taking, one step forward, two steps back? It's frustrating. And, when I heard the noise, I thought, okay, here it is, Saturday night, the kids are coming back. They're here. It's just part of they were squealing the tires and stuff. But then I heard screaming, and it turned into a real crazy show. And to the credit of the police, they were there, yelling on bullhorns to disperse, and these kids just laughing at them. So I'm not sure what kind of recourse we have, but that's the reason I came here today.
No, I
'cause
appreciate that, Gary, and I appreciate that feedback.
And I know you got a letter or email from,
Yeah, yeah.
from her. And I know she sent one to the police chief but unless we start thinking out of the box to handle that, and I know it's probably only 10% or 20%.
No, it's less than,
But-
it is, it's not the majority, but Virginia is, want to add, I know that, I don't think anyone was expecting that this early, right? And I don't think a lot of the programs we have in place were initiated that's usually start with moving. So that's not an excuse, but this was traditionally a week earlier than what we normally see. Am I correct, Gary? Would you agree with that? Yes. Okay. Virginia, do you want to add anything?
Just that the Niagara Regional Police are investigating, so we are going through the usual steps to try identify those people. We did have challenges, obviously, with 200 kids. I mean, there's only so much. There's only so many of us working at a time. We can't go up against 200 kids, obviously. But like I said, this new bylaw tool that we have, I think it's really going to go a long way once the students start to realize, not just students, anybody hosting parties, working closely with Jason for Airbnb. If it is a rental, I mean, there are consequences as well for violating that rental agreement as well.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to go on now to thank you, Marcia, for bringing that up, and thank you, Gary, as well. And I'm going to continue now on our round table. Virginia, did you want to add anything else, or you're good, or go ahead?
I'm good, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Mike, did you have anything you want to add from Thorold Fire and Emergency Services perspective?
Mr. Mayor, we're good. Thank you very much.
Okay, Daryl?
Nothing else here, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Kristen?
Nothing further. Thank you.
Okay, Kaylee?
I'm also good, thanks.
Okay, Gary, did you have anything else? I know that's. Thank you. Catherine, did you have anything to add from the waste management perspective? Okay. Megan, did you have anything to add regarding the initiative that you're working on with the communication? Okay. Jason?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I always have something to say.
I know. Okay, so.
No, sorry, I do have something
Oh,
to say.
no, good, okay.
Sorry. So I did receive the email that we just discussed, which was obviously very disturbing. I'm just learning that it was a party of 200 people, so that's news to me. But as Virginia mentioned, we are going to be working much closer together with each other, our two agencies, bylaw enforcement and Niagara Regional Police, to try and mitigate these issues. And you will see bylaw enforcement coverage or presence in these neighborhoods on a daily basis moving forward now that the students are moving back. So I just wanted to provide that update.
Okay, thank you. Okay, before I move into next meeting, I just want to state that it's important that we do a follow-up of this past weekend and hopefully get to the bottom of everything that occurred. And we need to be prepared moving forward. As we know, starting this weekend is the traditional move-in week. But as Marcia mentioned, and I noticed it throughout the city, a lot of students have moved in already. That's mostly students that have already been at the university. More of the first-year students traditionally move in on move-in weekend, but there are a lot of students already moved in and out in the community, so earlier than most years, I would say. So, okay, so our next meeting is scheduled for Monday, November 27th at 10 a.m. And before that, we'll be working on initiatives with our community partners all through the September, October, not only for move-in and homecoming, but Halloween and all those because traditionally September, October are definitely the busiest time. And if there's any reason or issues that we need to call a special meeting, we will, or any information that we can distribute to the committee as well. So thank you, everybody. There being no further business, this meeting is hereby adjourned at 10:43 a.m.